Welcome to Maritime Pakistan, your gateway to the fascinating world of oceans and the opportunities they present to every one of us. Today's video explains the rights and privileges of seafarers based on the Maritime Labor Convention 2006. We're diving into the single most important document that really changed the game for seafarers everywhere. I mean, think about it. With ships flying flags from all over the world and crews made up of so many different nationalities, it's a really important question. The whole shipping industry is global, so you need a global answer to protect its workers. And luckily, we have one, a really powerful international agreement designed to do exactly that. And here it is. It's called the Maritime Labor Convention of 2006, or just the MLC. The best way to think about it is like an international Bill of Rights for every single seafarer. What it did was pretty revolutionary. It took dozens of old, kind of confusing rules and bundled them into one, clear, single standard for decent work at sea. So, to really get a grip on how this all works, let's follow a seafarer's journey right from the very beginning. What does the MLC say you need before you can even step foot on a ship? Well, Title I of the convention lays out a very clear checklist. First up, age. You gotta be at least 16. Second, you have to be healthy, so you need a valid medical certificate. Third, and this is obvious, you need to be trained for your job. And finally, and this is crucial, you have to get your job through an officially regulated service. These rules make sure everyone is prepared and protected from day one.
Now let's just pause on that last point about recruitment, because this is a huge deal. Any legitimate service that operates under the MLC is legally forbidden from charging you, the seafarer, for getting you a job. The ship owner pays that fee. This is a massive protection against financial exploitation before you've even earned a single dollar.
Okay, so you've met the requirements, you're officially on board. Now what? Well, this is where the MLC's protections really kick in, covering pretty much every part of your life and work at sea. And this right here, this principle from Article 4, it's the heart of it all. This isn't just some nice-sounding phrase, it's a real commitment. And it's backed up by specific, legally enforceable standards that we're about to look at. It all starts with your employment agreement, your contract, and the MLC is super strict about this. It has to spell out everything: who you are, who the ship owner is, your job, your exact wages, your vacation time, how the contract can end, all of it. This isn't just paperwork, it's your legal shield, making sure there's absolutely no confusion about your rights. And speaking of wages, the MLC guarantees you'll be paid regularly and in full. You have to get paid at least once a month, and you also have to get a clear itemized pay slip so you know exactly what you've earned. That kind of transparency is a basic part of fair employment. Now, this slide here tackles one of the biggest dangers at sea: getting tired. Fatigue is a serious safety risk, so the MLC sets really strict limits. You cannot work more than 14 hours in a day, period, or 72 hours in a week. On the flip side, you are guaranteed at least 10 hours of rest in a day and 77 in a week. These rules are absolutely vital for your safety and the safety of the whole ship.
So, what about time off? You know, a real vacation. The MLC sets a minimum standard for that too. For every single month you work, you earn at least 2.5 days of paid leave. And, just as important, if you have to miss work because you're sick or injured, that doesn't count as your vacation time.
Your rights don't stop when your shift ends either. They extend right into your living space. The convention is actually really specific about accommodation, setting standards for everything from how high the ceiling is to proper heating and air conditioning. On most modern ships, this even means you get your own cabin. The message is clear: a decent place to live isn't a bonus, it's a basic right.
All right, now for one of the most critical protections for anyone working thousands of miles away from their home and family: your guaranteed ticket home.
The rule here is simple and absolute. You have the right to be sent home at the end of your contract or under other specific conditions, and you don't pay for it. The ship owner is legally required to cover the entire cost of your trip home. So when does this right kick in? Well, the protection is incredibly broad. It applies when your contract is up or if the ship owner ends it. It even applies if you have to end it for a good reason, like getting sick. And, really important, it also applies after you've been on board for a maximum period, which is usually around 12 months.
But, what if the worst happens? What if the ship owner goes bankrupt or just abandons the ship? The MLC thought of that, and there's a powerful safety net. Every ship has to have financial security, kind of like an insurance policy that guarantees you'll get paid any wages you're owed and that you'll be sent home no matter what happens to the company.
So, okay, having all these rights on paper is fantastic. But here's the big question. how are they actually enforced on thousands of ships sailing all over the globe?
The enforcement system is actually pretty brilliant. It's based on two pillars. First, you've got the flag state. That's the country where the ship is registered. It's their job to inspect their own ships. But then there's the port state. This means that any country a ship sails into has the right to inspect it to make sure it's following MLC rules. Together, these two create a global safety net that makes it really tough for bad ships to hide.
So, let's just quickly boil this all down. What are the key takeaways from your Seafarer's Bill of Rights? It starts with clear rules before you even get the job. It promises you a fair, detailed contract. It guarantees regulated work and rest hours and paid time off. It makes sure your trip home is always protected and free. And finally, a strong global inspection system. Make sure these aren't just words, but reality.
We hope that you liked today's video. You can read the complete convention through the link given in the description. Please subscribe to remain abreast of developments in the maritime domain. Post your questions in the comment section for future videos.